Hello everyone, back once again for recent watches part 32. So when I checked, it had been 12 days since I did part 31. In that time I've watched 8 films, which isn't too bad going considering, I've had an absolute nightmare weekend, other stuff going on, but one thing I will say is I try to do some DIY. I'm a DIY tard, aka B&Q, begin and quit. Won't go into it too much because I don't want everyone to think I'm too stupid, but trying to do some works and sprang a leak in the movie room. Water started spraying on the films, but I reacted with the speed of a mongoose and basically just put a towel in the way, stop the films from getting damaged. So yeah, they got like a light sprinkling, but I dried it off. Touch wood, none of them are water damaged, so hence why I'm wearing this thick Bane style denim jacket because it's cold in here. Yeah, I've had no water or heating for 3 days now. I think it is should be getting fixed tomorrow, hopefully. But yeah, try not to laugh or mock me too much in the comments. I won't actually show you what's happened because yeah, it's a bit of a mess in here. But yeah, main thing to take away is my films didn't get damaged. But yeah, very stressful at the time. Obviously, water springing out and I'm like thinking, right, my whole film collection's going to get damaged. Yeah, don't know what I would have done if it had happened. Won't say anything too depressing, but yeah, I would have probably booked myself into Dignitas. So yeah, luckily it's not too cold at the moment without heating, but my mum literally lives around the corner and the gym's just down the road, so I'm going there for showers and things, buying bottled water and boiling it in the kettle to be able to do the washing up and clean my teeth and stuff. But yeah, I would have probably got through like 12 or so if that hadn't happened. Just, yeah, I'd spent the last few days trying to repair pipes and leaks. So the first one I watched, funny. I think it is meant to be a comedy, but it's got some bits that are funny just because they're silly. Some bits that are actually, I guess, meant to be funny. Showed this one on a recent pickup a little while ago. Teeth. Yes, put it this way, her teeth are not in her mouth. As Roy likes to talk about, certain canals is where the teeth are situated. I think it's Australian. Yeah, pretty sure Australian. 18 contains very strong sexualized gore. You probably guessed that from the premise, the name, and her X-ray. Sick, wrong, and highly entertaining. They've described. Yeah, it's it is gory and it's quite nasty in places, but it is done in like a light-hearted, jokey way. It's no Antichrist, as Roy can attest to, which is graphic, but also in a depressing way. Whereas, you've got some films out there that are a bit wrong, a bit immoral, but in a funny kind of way, so it's not as offensive. Whereas, yeah, if this was played straight, I guess it would be a bit more hideous. But yeah, I didn't find it too in bad taste. Although I can't say I've really ever watched anything that's offended me. Running time 90 minutes. I mean, yeah, it's not the best made film. It's funny. It's got some good gore. It's got some silly bits. Quite original premise, I guess. I mean, people might have thought. I mean, I guess it's quite weird if you're thinking about things like this, but as a script to write. But yeah, I guess people might have thought of it before and just never did it, or thought that's not going to get put into production. Yeah, without being too graphic, the bit that really made me laugh is when she goes to the doctor. Not really a spoiler to say she accidentally bites his fingers off at the gynecologist. I think the Latin term he uses for the condition is vagina dentata, which not to be confused with Hakuna Matata from The Lion King. Yeah, what can you really say about this? It's not that well made. It's funny. I mean, I've watched it once years ago on, I've said this a few times, my illegal Kodi streaming box. Don't tell the police. Yeah, sort of had fun with it. So watched it again, 6 years later. We'll keep it in the collection, but probably one I won't watch again for quite a while. But yeah, it's entertaining, never bored. A few sort of moments where WTF, but yeah, as far as well-made films go, I give it a 6. It's not too bad, but yes, not a brilliant film. Next, we've got Brotherhood of the Wolf, the director's cut. So I did have this on DVD. I forgot to check. Basically, I've sent the DVD on to Sammy G's World of Cinema. Sure, but Sam, great guy, great channel. Go and check out his channel and subscribe if you haven't. Sammy G's World of Cinema. Yeah, I should have checked before I sent it. I think I actually said in the voice note to him I was going to check before I sent it the running time. Because, yeah, this is the director's cut, which is usually longer, whereas the version I did have was just like the standard version. I mean, this is 151 minutes, so 2 hours and a half. Never really dragged. Well, I didn't drag at all. Very entertaining. Got to say, some of the best costume design I've seen in any film ever. Not just, obviously, it's kind of Victorian. Well, I guess it's Victorian era. Is it like set in the 1800s in France during the reign of Louis XIV? Yeah, I guess it's meant to be sort of. It looks like Highwayman, as you can probably see on the front. Hopefully you can with this glare. Yeah, it's like Highwayman kind of garb they're wearing. But yeah, not just well designed costume design and set design, but it really brings you into the world where everybody's sort of dressed like it. When they're in sort of France, it's all sort of bleak and quite dark weather. Yeah, I can't remember whether a lot of it's shot at night, but a lot of it's shot in the rain. Not all of it. I mean, I know Roy did a video about, I think it was a short, Blue Roy Movies, Roy Barrett did a video about films that were set in the rain. So like Blade Runner has rain all the way through it. Ring has rain all the way through it. The remake version with Naomi Watts. Storm Warning, yeah, a few. So I don't think it has it all the way through it, so it can't quite make Roy's list. But yeah, filmed by Christophe Gans. So I was thinking of watching this anyway since I picked it up. But since it's been quite a hot topic of Return to Silent Hill, which is directed by Christophe Gans, which is apparently one of the worst films of all time. Not just a badly made film, and I think a score of like 12% on Rotten Tomatoes, but also people are saying if you've played the computer games, then it's going to upset you even more, because it must like do a toilet on the law and basically upset the fans. I'm not really sure what happens in it. The original Silent Hill by Christophe Gans, I enjoy that. Yeah, good film, like 7 out of 10 kind of film, one I'm thinking of getting round to watching soon, so unless it goes up in my evaluation, I've already spoiled what score it's going to get. But yeah, crazy, the guy went on from doing this, which just looks amazing, amazingly shot, brilliant acting, good mystery, really good martial arts scenes, really good characters, bit of gore and things in it. It's got Monica Bellucci in it, which is always a plus to look at her. I think it might be Marc Dacascos who plays this, even though it's in France. Because he's got tomahawks and that, I think they're sort of branding him as like a Native American, or of sort of Native American descent, like maybe from the Sioux tribe or something living in France. But yeah, he for me was the best character in it and the best martial artist. Yeah, good choreography. Everybody's good in it. But yeah, sort of crazy about the guy went from doing this, which I think is a really good film, to doing Return to Silent Hill. So I think on IMDb this has got an average score of like 7.9. They went from that to 20 years later doing probably like 1.8 on IMDb. Let me know what other films he's done. I think he's done Hitman, which Ollie from Ollie Loves Films gave me, but I haven't got around to watching yet. But yeah, really good the way the mystery unfolds. It's not really a spoiler to say there's a beast that's attacking people who don't know what it is. There's a lot of mystique and intrigue around what the beast is, and it doesn't leave you dry with blue balls. It does actually show you the beast, and yeah, obviously I won't say spoilerish, but it is satisfying. Yeah, it's just a really well made film. But yeah, I think you could sort of pause this film on most scenes and it would always look good what's going on in the scene, but each frame's kind of a bit like a painting. So a bit like, if anyone knows the films of Peter Greenaway, who does like The Cook, The Thief, His Wife and Her Lover, A Z and Two Noughts, Draftman's Contract. He's known for sort of creating scenes that look like oil paintings where you can sort of pause it at any scene and it just looks like a piece of art. And I would say that this falls into that category. French film with French language, so if you're not into that, then if you can't read subtitles, don't want to read subtitles, then yeah, warning ahead. It's quite dialogue heavy, but I think from the action and the martial arts, well, the fighting scene, shall we say, and the sort of visuals on screen. You can understand what's going on without reading the subtitles, but there is one scene about half an hour long when they're in like I think it's like a brothel kind of thing, and that's got quite a lot of dialogue. But yeah, I'd give that an 8.5, sort of going quite close to a 9. Don't know if it'd quite touch my like top 25 films ever, but probably in my top 50. Was it? Oh, it was 2001. I probably should have had this in my top 25 films of the century, although to be fair, I don't think I had rewatched that when I wrote the list and recorded it. Obviously recorded that, let's say, 6 days ago. Yeah, I think maybe I only just watched that the night after I recorded it. But yeah, probably should have had that in there, to be fair, or at least an honourable mention. The same as somehow I completely forgot about The Machinist, which would be in my top 10, if not top 5. So yeah, I think because Roy tagged me, I didn't want to wait too long to do it. So I kind of looked through the collection and I look at a few like IMDb list of what the top 10 films were, so I won't forget some, and sort of threw it together quite fast. Whereas I guess maybe I should have gave myself like a few days or a week to really think about it. You know, look at different lists, look through the collection a few times, and I wouldn't have missed some. But there you are. This next one, absolutely insane. I mean, I'd say it's extreme cinema, but not in terms of gore. Well, actually, there's a bit near the end, but you know, it's not like Terrifier, where it's just chopping people up and like extreme gore. The sort of sickness comes from the nudity, the literal sickness. Vomiting doesn't trigger me that much watching it on screen, but it's basically bits. Let me show it to you. Taxidermia. So this is a Hungarian film by, I'm probably going to butcher his name if I can find it. I can't even find it. Oh, actually be on the side because it's a Tartan video. A film by, I'm going to call him Georgi Palfi. Georgi Palfi. The only Hungarian name I know is Hristo Stoichkov. Actually, he was Bulgarian. So no, I don't. I mean, maybe there's some Hungarian footballers I'm forgetting. I think there was a really good one from like the 80s, but sure Roy or someone, I know his name. I mean, as it says here, one of the biggest heads ever committed to celluloid. I won't swear on here, even though it's not for children. I mean, I'd probably say worse content, but yeah, I'm already having my comments going missing and hidden by YouTube. So if anyone is wondering why I haven't commented on their video, someone I usually watch all their videos, I probably have, and it's just been lost into the ether. But yeah, I think YouTube might already be on my back, so I better not say the F word. 3 stories, 3 generations, 3 men, 1 bizarre and shocking universe. I have spoke about this when I did my sorry, let me move this forward a bit uncomfortable. I have spoke about this when I did my my weirdest films of all time list, and this was on there, and this would be very high up. It's not just weird in terms of it's surreal and it's original in terms of things you haven't really thought about, but also the way it's shot and the way the story is. Yeah, you've never seen anything like it. Very artish, very well filmed. The cinematography, there's a bit, it shows a bathtub, like an old kind of iron cast bathtub, and then it goes back in time and shows everything that's happened in that bathtub. But as it shows it, the camera will be above the bathtub like this, the camera swings under the bathtub, then go back onto the top, and each time it circulates clockwise and goes back to the top, it goes to another scene. It'll show 200 years ago when people are making like bread in the bathtub, like kneading it, and then 10 years later someone's like give birth in the bathtub, and then another 10 years later someone's butchered a pig and kept it in the bathtub. And yeah, just sort of the cinematography on that, some of the best I've ever seen, or at least most inventive. A bit like Sam Raimi with the original Evil Dead, how the cinematography was so inventive, you know, where he's got the camera following through the woods on a POV where it's meant to be like, I guess it's a demon, the Deadites. Yeah, I'll read this bit to you quickly because I can't really sum it up in words. Orderly grandfather is a love-craving fantasist who lives off of feverish dreams and his fertile imagination. I mean, the bits with him in the most graphic, it starts, and I don't know if you can see that on the back, but he is literally shooting flames out of his penis, so I guess it brings a new meaning to goodness gracious, great balls of fire. But yeah, you see that in graphic detail, his penis and the fire coming out, and then he's having weird, I won't go into it too much, but weird fantasy, some he imagines. There's some quite graphic sex scenes, and they're not titillating in the slightest. They're made to be very vulgar. Yeah, that's probably the sort of most graphic sort of sexual bit. Yeah, I'd say there's 3 sort of steps to this. So yeah, the first part, graphic in a sort of sexual nudity, perverted kind of way. And then the next part of the vignette is Speed Eater Father is a leading sportsman, if you can really call that. I guess if you can call darts and snooker and chess sport, and I guess speed eating might be considered a sport, who for 4 years held first place in his category within the confectionery industry. He is still unbeatable in chocolate wafers with an individual record of 2.98. I can't imagine that means he only finished 2.98 wafers, because I could do more than that. It must be 2.98 per second or something, and he's just shoveling them in. Yeah, this one is, the gross out factor from this is they're basically speed eating, and then once they've had their fill, they'll basically vomit. They've got these like things, they put their like face on this strap and lean forward, and they're sicking into this bowl, and there's a bit where there's literally like 20 people all just vomiting at once, and yeah, if that gets to you, then that will sicken you, no pun intended. But yeah, I'd say that part is more sort of sickening, like a vomit. I guess a bit of body horror, but yeah, more sort of a sickness way. And then so it's gone from the grandfather to the son, and now to the so the first guy, the sort of pervert, has a son. Weirdly enough, he's born with a pig's tail, and they chop it off. And then he goes on to speed eating. Then he has a son, who is a taxidermist. His weight at birth was just 1.5 kilos. Now he has less than 1.5 minutes left to perform the ultimate in auto-body modification procedures. Hilariously sick and outrageously deviant, this gross-out visual feast, this shock cinema is best. So yeah, the third part is kind of more body horror and gore. There's kind of one scene at the end, I don't know if you can see it there, where he, not really a spoiler to say, he puts himself in a contraption and sort of taxiderms himself. And then, but yeah, it's kind of, I'd say, a dark comedy. I'd say it's as graphic and that as like Antichrist, Sallow, things like that, but not in a depressing way. A few bits are funny. It's very colourful, like I say, very well shot, very entertaining, absolutely bizarre. You've never seen anything like it. Thinking about it now, yeah, there is a few scenes of gore, but I don't think gore is the main sort of disturbing thing like it is in a lot of these kind of extreme films, especially from French cinema. But there's one bit where, if you can see him there, once he's retired from speed eating, he's an absolute lump and he can't get out of his chair, and the taxidermist son has to bring him his food and things. Basically every day he goes and buys like 50 blocks of butter, and he keeps these cats in cages and he feeds them butter to fatten them up. Yeah, it's very bizarre, very surreal, but if you're into this kind of cinema, I imagine Ash from Popcorn and Horror, Marcus from X-File 2708, and Hills from Hills on the Hunt, maybe Roy from Blue Roy Movies, now we're bringing him into the dark side, would all get on with this. But yeah, surreal, gross, I won't really say disturbing, but yeah, more gross out. You'll never forget this film. About the third watch of this, yeah, I would give it an 8. It's actually a well-made film. I think this Giorgio Polfi does actually have another film before this called Huckle, which I've never seen and can never even seem to get hold of a physical copy. So if anyone has it or has watched it, let me know if Huckle is decent. But yeah, Taxidermia, you will never see another film like that. Not even close. It's absolutely insane. From Taxidermia, disgusting kind of gross out Hungarian satire, I guess you'd call it, to an actual classic, is H.G. Wells' The Time Machine on the premium collection. Yeah, I know Stuart is a big fan of this. In fact, I think I bought this when we was in Birmingham. No, it might have been the Satanic Rites of Dracula. I nearly mispronounced it then. The Satanic Rites of Dracula. I know when I was in there, Stuart had sort of recommended one. But yeah, me and Stuart was talking about The Time Machine. I read the book when I was a kid from H.G. Wells a long time before I'd watched this. Had watched this probably 10 years old. Remembered liking it. Remembered the Morlocks were creepy. Couldn't really remember too much about it. Then me and Stuart was talking about the remake with Samantha Mumba, which I have watched once, again, when I was about 15 or when it first came out, so I can't remember too much about it. I am going to go and watch the remake. I was going to do it in the same episode, but like I say, I've had stuff going on, so I was going to watch it as my like ninth kind of film, but didn't get round to it. But yeah, really well made. Great sci-fi film, well shot, great acting. I mean, as much as the scenes later, I'm sort of spoiling it, I'm sure everyone knows the premise of this, when the Morlocks are involved and they're going underground, and there's all the sort of people with like the blonde hair and like basin cuts that are, they hear the bell ring, is it? And then they go and hide, and they're basically slaves to the Morlocks. that's all very interesting. The bits when the time machine travels in time is very interesting. The actual contraption they make looks really good. I think they do actually call it a contraption and offend him. But for me, the bit I found the most entertaining is near the start when they basically all get summoned to what's his name, the main character, George, played by Rod Taylor, summons them all to his house to tell them something, and basically tells them, I've invented this time machine, shows them the proof, and then it's about 4 or 5 blokes, and they're scientists, or at least learned men, doctors and things. And the bit when they're talking about the science of time and space, and one of the doctors gives a demonstration of the 4 dimensions, moving forward, moving sideways, moving up and down, then the 4th dimension being time. Just found that really entertaining. Entertaining all the way through. Really good scenes, some really good action scenes when he's like fighting the Morlocks later on. Sure, that's not a spoiler to say. It must be from the 60s, I'm thinking. But it really still stands up. Hasn't aged that bad. 1960, directed by George Powell. Not sure what else he's done, but let me know, Stuart. I'm sure you'll know. 103 minutes, so going on 2 hours, but really flew by. But entertaining, well made, and it's a classic for a reason. I think Stuart did have this number 1 in his top 10 sci-fi films of all time list. But really enjoyed this. Kind of like a new watch for me, really. One thing I will say, I do remember in The Big Bang Theory, first few seasons of that I really enjoyed, and then I kind of lost interest in it. But I think it's in the first season where the lads in it buy the prop of the original time machine from this film, and they're sort of sat in it, and they take turns. I think they split the money, so he's like, you have it Monday to Wednesday, I'll have it Thursday to Saturday, and then we'll have it alternating weekends. And then when Sheldon's, I think he has a nightmare that the Morlocks are coming for him, then he doesn't want it anymore. But it obviously is in popular culture if it's in The Big Bang Theory. But PG, tasteful family film, a few creepy bits if you've got young kids. And the Morlocks still do look good. I won't keep banging on about it. I'm sure everybody knows this one, but we'll give that a 9 out of 10, I think. Really good film. Also, before I forget, I will say, obviously, this is my recent watches. We'll plug Marcus from X-File 2708. Used to do his, I think it was weekly watches, maybe like me, called it recent watches, because you're not always doing it weekly. Sometimes it's bi-weekly, fortnightly, every 10 days, whatever you want to break it down to mathematically. But he is back, and he's done a new episode, a slightly different format. It's very entertaining. I have watched it but not commented yet, Marcus, so I will after this video. But go and watch that. Good to see Marcus return with that series, because I have Letterboxd, but I've not even logged into it for about a year. So unless people do their sort of weekly recent watches like Roy and Marcus is now doing, and then Stuart does like watches videos, then I'm not sure what people have watched. Right, this really impressed me. So Black Phone 2. The original Black Phone I really did enjoy. I thought it was quite slow, in a good kind of entertaining slow burner way, but I don't know why I'm looking down there for it. Those films have had to move because that's where the leak was. They're out in the hallway now in a cabinet. The original was slow but not boring, but for me, without spoiling it, the original's going along as like sort of crime film, and then it introduces supernatural elements. I won't say more than that. Didn't ruin it for me, the supernatural elements, but I don't think it needed it. Whereas this is a bit more based on the supernatural elements, but I think it's better than the first one in every way. It's more entertaining. The character of the brother and the sister got really good chemistry. You really believe they care about each other. I'd say the Snatcher, Ethan Hawke's character, isn't in this as much as he is the original, but when he does appear, it's a bit more sort of phantasmagoric. So rather than in the original, it's not a spoiler to say this, it does sort of say on the back, the original, he's like a real person. In this one, he's kind of like a spirit, a ghost, like an entity. I don't know what you call it, but he basically attacks people in their dreams. So this has got kind of elements of, I guess, the original Nightmare on Elm Street, because there's the way it's sort of set up, it feels a bit more like Dream Warriors, but set in the snow. So that's 2 absolute sellers for me. Similar to Dream Warriors, set in the snow, really good acting, good characters you care for. How long? 1 hour 53, but really flew by. Directed by Scott Derrickson. I mean, I would say before this, I've got quite a few of his films, about 6 or so, mostly as horrors. I prefer to his like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse, whatever it was called, kind of thing. But Sinister was always my favourite by him and one of my favourite horror films of recent times. But this has maybe actually displaced, usurped Sinister as my favourite by him. Um, yeah, I think I sort of said to Ash about it. I said it was good because Ash wasn't a massive fan of the first. I was like, if you don't like the first, then I think you will like this because it's different in every way. But the way I sort of sold it to Ash is Dream Warrior set in the snow at a summer camp, but in the winter. So a winter camp, I guess. But yeah, there's a bit where about 3 or 4 of these adults go to like do training at a camp in the winter when it's like abandoned, and kind of only them there in these like cabins. So yeah, I mean Scott Derrickson must be like, what's some classic horror tropes? Film set in the snow, like The Shining, all the things set in a cold, isolated environment. Sort of films with dream killers, a bit like Nightmare on Elm Street, especially Dream Warriors, and then adding a bit of a sort of summer camp. Yeah, those I guess are 3 of the kind of main pastiches of horror film tropes, but in a good way. Yeah, there's a scene in this, I think probably the best scene I've seen, not to confuse you, in terms of music and cinematography, the way the music fits with what's happening on the screen. I think it's maybe the best. It's a big call. Best bit I've seen since The Shining. So if anyone knows the original Shining, I've not seen like a TV made for TV version. Heard it's not great, even though Stephen King prefers it. But I'm sure everybody knows as they're driving up towards the Overlook Hotel, it's going up the winding sort of mountain roads, and it's playing that like haunting soundtrack. Yeah, there's a bit on this when they're driving in a car through the snowy roads, and it starts playing Another Brick in the Wall Part 1 by Pink Floyd, which is not only a good song I do enjoy, big fan of Pink Floyd, not one of my favourites by them, but the way that song is paired as the guitar starts and the car's driving along, it's not quite as sort of aerial. I mean, yeah, I've never understood how they shot that opening scene of The Shining because it's panned way back, and I don't think it's like a camera up on a high rig, and obviously drones weren't around. I can't imagine they paid for a helicopter. So yeah, let me know if you know how they shot that scene from sort of hundreds of meters up with the camera panning around. It's not a shot from as high up. It's kind of more like lower sort of perspective to the characters. But yeah, I got to say that bit almost sort of gave me shivers. Not just because it's a film set in the cold, but yeah, when they're driving in the car on their like little mission. Yeah, there's a lot of mystery involved. There's some sort of creepy bits. There's some bits where you see something happen, like someone makes a phone call from the lake, and you're like, is that just going to be left as like some kind of mysterious supernatural bit? But no, that comes full circle later. Yeah, really impressed with this. If I'd watched this last year, it might have been in my top 10. What was it? Top 10 watches of last year. First time watches, and I did like 5 honorable mentions. I always like to cheat. Might have been in there, yeah. For me, it's other than Weapons, probably the best horror film of 2025. Obviously, it came out 26 on Blu-ray, but I think it was 25. It was released in the cinemas and that originally. Yes, I think I said before, Weapons, Heretic, and Bring Her Back were my 3 favourite. Together was quite high up there. Maybe a few others I'm overlooking at the moment, but yeah, those 3 I would say were my favourite horrors of the year. This was probably my second, maybe even better than Weapons, which Weapons, yeah, quite flawless film in my opinion, quite a modern classic. Yeah, for me, this is quite a modern classic. Not everybody might get on with it. I think 1 or 2 people watched it and said it was good, but they didn't love it. But yeah, for me, this absolutely ticked all the boxes of what I like in horror, the little niches. Yeah, I think everybody likes horror films set in the snow, for example. But yeah, I would say if you weren't a massive fan of the original, you might get something out of that. You don't really need to know the story of the original to watch it. But if you are a fan of the original, then yeah, I think you might be very impressed. That's improved even more. As people probably seen on my last pickup's video, haul, whatever you call it, I picked up the Star Wars trilogy. Obviously, I've seen them all multiple times. As a kid, I had them on VHS, watched them on TV so many times, watched them on the Disney Plus channel, like I said. Sorry, Stuart, I was streaming. Obviously, I went I would say the first part. I watched part 4 first, A New Hope. So yeah, first time I've watched it in a few years, to be fair. First time I'd ever seen it on Blu-ray. I guess when it's on like streaming, like Disney Plus or on TV, it's probably streamed as like the highest format they can get. So yeah, on Disney Plus, I don't know if it's 4K, but I guess it would at least be Blu-ray. But yeah, this obviously sets up the story, sets the scene. Brilliant film in its own right. Yeah, I've known someone's a bit older than me. He said when this originally came out, was it 77? Not sure I can see a year unless it tells me on the disc. No, 1977. What a guess. I was literally just saying last night to a few people that I think there were more quality films made in the year 1977 alone than there has been in the last 26 years of the like top 100 films of the century. But yeah, he said he went to see this at the cinema when he was about 8 years old or so. He said it was absolutely mind-blowing, the best thing he'd ever seen. You know, I went to see Jurassic Park at the cinema when I was about 9 or so with a bunch of mates, and that's the best theatre experience I've ever had. Not just a really good film that I still love now, but see it in the cinema. Obviously, you've never seen like CGI before, really, but you've never seen effects at that. You've never seen these big dinosaurs on screen. It was like breathtaking. The bit with the T-Rex when, you know, you see the water vibrating when he's stamping and he's coming close. Yeah, it was booming around the whole cinema. Obviously, I've been to the cinema before and seen some quite epic films, but that sort of was a game changer for me. And yeah, my mate said to see this in the cinema at that kind of age, you've never seen anything like it before. No one really knew what it was going to be. Thought it'd be another sci-fi that might not be great, but yeah, that's kind of one thing I've always wished, that if I could go back in time, watch any film for the first time on the big screen, it would be a Star Wars, A New Hope, or Jaws. Because yeah, I mean, Jaws was apparently the first blockbuster where people were sort of queuing around the block to get in, but we're talking about Star Wars: A New Hope. Some brilliant music. Obviously, it's John Williams. You know the main score, Darth Vader's theme when he comes, that dun 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 dun. But I kind of forgot how good some of the more subtle score is. So there's a bit for me, my favourite scene in the film, not just the music, but also the cinematography when Luke's on Tatooine and he's looking up at the two suns in the distance on the horizon, and then it starts playing that really mellow like string music. Yeah, that literally gave me like goosebumps, that bit. Yeah, I mean, sure, everybody knows this. I'm not going to explain the plot or anything, but introduces all of the sort of interesting characters. Darth Vader, Obi-Wan, Luke Skywalker. Some really good fighting scenes. Good scenes of action. One of my favourite scenes is when they're in the trash compactor, is it called? I guess they call it trash in America. I think this was the only one directed by George Lucas. Don't think he did The Empire Strikes Back. I know Richard Marquand did Return of a Jedi. Can't see on here who did Empire Strikes Back, but let me know if anyone knows. I'll try not to look at it too long. Yeah, like I said, I won't go into the details of every scene, because I'm sure everybody knows this, but I won't really say until I've watched all three of them, but The Empire Strikes Back is my favourite, as I'm sure everybody's is. But without A New Hope to sort of set the scene, obviously brings the sort of Death Star. I guess once you made the original, it's not too hard to be like, right, we've created these iconic characters like Darth Vader, let's just keep using them and furthering the story. But to come up with some of these characters, the costume design, obviously a lot of the bits in space is model work, where they'll have a black room with like fake starlight, and they'll literally have a Millennium Falcon that big on a string, and they'll film it flying past, and then they'll make it look like it's huge and real. I think I did actually see on the documentary thing, the extras, that they use the noise of a cow or something for the vroom when the TIE fighters fly past. But yeah, sure, everybody knows Star Wars, so I'll stop going on about it, but 9 out of 10. Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi might be higher, maybe not Return of a Jedi, but I'll talk about that once I've watched them. Right, now on to the worst watch of the week. Zombie Lake. So I did say a while ago, I thought I'd had this and it had really good music. I was thinking of another film. I was thinking of one called Zombie Nosh, which opens with this really classic, like, Italian kind of, I'm forgetting his name. I did look, because when I did the last, when I spoke about this, when I picked it up, I said it was similar to the composer that does all the music on Lucio Fulci's films. But yeah, that was Zombie Nosh. So I don't think I've ever seen Zombie Lake. And I kind of got it mixed up with Zombie Nosh. Still does have quite good music, but it's more of like a sedate piano, not in a Riz Ortolani kind of juxtaposed way where it's like beautiful music against nasty violence. It's just a kind of chilled piano. I mean, it is a really bad film. I would have probably passed this one on to Hills. I think it's this kind of thing, but since I know it's a Section 3 video nasty, didn't know that when I bought it, I kind of have to keep it in the collection just because obviously I'm going for a Section 1, Section 2, Section 3. For a while I was just going for the Section 1 and 2 and thought, oh, I'll leave all the Section 3 till last. But then I think I don't want to get to the end and you're getting a load of Section 3 which aren't the proper official illegal video nasties. A lot of them are really expensive or not great film. I mean, a lot of them in general aren't great film. But yeah, I didn't want to get to, I've got like 40 left and they're all off Section 3. So I've been trying to like spread it out as I buy them. But I mean, it's quite funny in a bad way. The only thing that saves this, probably bumps it up like 1 mark for me, is I don't think I've ever seen outside of the extreme films like Antichrist and things, don't think I've ever seen a film with as much nudity as this, especially a horror film from the 80s. Was this 1980? I think so. I can't actually see. Doesn't tell me on the back. But yeah, literally opens with this. I mean, it's a French film. Opens with this French lady by a like dock, I guess you call it, by the water. Just takes all her clothes off, and then she's led on a rock sunbathing in full glory. You can see everything full frontal. It is quite gratuitous where there's bits where obviously they're in the zombie lake. It's got these naked women swimming. As they're swimming, obviously the camera scene is literally looking right up their legs. Yeah, you do see everything in this in quite a pornographic way, but yeah, the women in it, unlike some of the sex scenes in Antichrist or Anora, which I found completely untitillating and unerotic. The ladies in this are very attractive, really goes in, showing them in a lot of detail. I would say a bit like Baby Blood. It's got a lot of French bush, or should we call it Parisian spruce? But yeah, it's so badly made. The zombies, I don't know if you can really see them here, but they've literally just got green face paint on, and you can see the line where the green face paint stops on their neck. There's a bit when, I don't know why they did it, but zombie brings a woman to the floor, starts eating her, but really they should have shot it from a different angle where you could see him eating but not see the detail, or not even showed it, just suggested it. But he's meant to be biting her neck, and he's doing it for like 2 minutes, and you can literally see he's just rubbing his lips on it. He's got blood on his lips but none on her neck, and it's just smearing, and he's like chewing away. Then it zooms out, there's like no wound whatsoever. I don't think these zombies ever actually eat people's flesh. They just seem to drink their blood. But yeah, there's quite a few funny bits, some bizarre bits. It's really badly made. It's saying here directed by J.A. Laser, which I think the director, I can't remember his name, he's quite a famous French director, I think. But I think he was so ashamed of being attached to this film, he like put up a lawsuit to have his name removed from it, or at least have his name changed to a pseudonym. Yeah, as far as these kind of low budget, it's entertaining, it's never boring, it's funny. I think if you're into these kind of schlocky, like so bad they're good, you will entertain it, but it will entertain you, but yeah, it's so bad. The special effects, it's just amateurish in every way. The scenes are just bizarre. Some of them aren't even edited properly. I would have probably give it a 1, but for the nudity, which, yeah, is very titillating, very lovely lady, showed it literally being led on a rock, kind of showing everything, and they're just there for like 5 minutes while the camera just lingers on them. Yeah, I guess it's a bit voyeuristic, but it makes up for the everything else in the film. So yeah, I'd probably give that a 2.5. So the nudity bumped it up by 1.5 for me. But yeah, worst watch of the week. One of the worst watches, worst watch of the month. I think it's the lowest score the lowest score I've maybe ever given. Because even when I gave Atomic Shark and Ice Sharks a score, which I didn't love, I think I gave them 3 out of 10 because they're at least entertaining, as Hills will attest to. But yeah, Zombie Lake, it is really bad, but in a fun kind of way. Shout out to Ash from Popcorn and Horror. When I got home from work last night, gone 11 o'clock, I watched his top 10 films of the century video, which I tagged him in, and I think James from Movie Mad 1 has tagged him. Go and check out Ash's video, really interesting. Ash is a bit more I wouldn't say offbeat, but where a lot of people's gone for certain films that I won't say them and spoil it, but certain films you kind of expect to see that are on IMDb highly ranked. Ash went for a few sort of really good films, but ones you might not think of. But once he said them, I was like, yeah, actually, that I can see why that's on his list. But yeah, this is one Ash showed, Superbad. So I did have this on DVD. Last watched it, yeah, probably literally 10 years ago. Then upgraded this from DVD to Blu-ray. I think I got it in CX, £3 or £4 a month or so ago. Was thinking of giving it a rewatch, and then when Ash spoke of it that glowingly, I know me and Ash have spoke a few times about how funny we find Step Brothers, and the fact that this made it on Ash's list over Step Brothers, I was like, I need to go back and rewatch this. So yeah, rewatched this last night. Evidently, it's still in the player. The version I had on the DVD, I think, was just a standard, about an hour and a half, hour and 45. This is the extended cut. Don't know what the extended scenes are. Probably more crudeness. But yeah, this one's nearly 2 hours, 118 minutes. Can't believe it's only a 15. Contains frequent strong sex references and language. Yeah, there is a bit of gore actually. I won't sort of say what happens, but with someone's throat. But yeah, the language in this, the vulgarity, not just the swear words, but just saying some really disgusting, graphic kind of sexual things. Everybody's really funny in it. Obviously, McLovin, probably the best character with some funny lines, but Jonah Hill is absolutely dropping like quotables all the time. Yeah, there's so many bits that made me laugh out loud. I can't really repeat some of them on here because, like I say, YouTube seems to already be on my back, and I will get banned because it's all just vulgar, like sex talk and graphic details of I probably said worse on the channel, but don't want to spoil it with all the quotables. But yeah, Jonah Hill kind of makes this film for me, I would say. Also, you've got Bill Hader and Seth Rogen as the police, really good in it. He's like bungling policemen. The bit when he's sort of, without being too graphic, drawing penises everywhere when he's a kid, and girl finds it and dobs him into the teacher. And I think at the time he says, the teacher found my Ghostbusters lunchbox treasure trove of dicks and thought I was possessed by a dick devil or something. Yeah, there's just so many funny bits. It's also a good film, well acted, good characters, really entertaining. Although it's gone on for 2 hours, I was like never bored, never wanted it to end. Emma Stone in this when she's quite young, one of her first roles. Dialogue absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I mean, it's up there now for me with Step Brothers. Probably slightly prefer Step Brothers. I don't know if it's funnier, but I just prefer it that they're kind of adults and the way the sort of banter is between them, and they hate each other, then they become friends. And there's the amazing bit later where Will Ferrell's singing, I can't remember what the song's called, like a Latin song, and he's actually really good. And Michael C. Riley's like, is that his name? John C. Riley, sorry, like playing the drums. Yeah, there's not sort of scenes like that, but yeah, there's some surreal scenes. Yeah, it's just, I'd say it's a kind of teen comedy, but most people I know are adults, still really enjoy this at any age. Don't know if this is the first. Maybe Michael Cera was in Juno before this, but maybe the first film with Seth Rogen. But yeah, just no, sorry, not Seth Rogen. Jonah Hill. But yeah, just hilarious all the way through. Just I did enjoy it when I watched it before and found it funny, but I won't think it's one of my like top 5, top 3 sort of comedies of recent times. Whereas yeah, rewatching this, maybe my sort of humour has changed slightly, but yeah, just absolutely hilarious. I won't go into all of the quotables and things that happen in it, but it says here the best teen movie since American Pie. I do like American Pie. Not so much, can't really remember the sequels, but the original American Pie is good. But yeah, for me, this is way ahead of that. Yeah, I think I would give this 8. Filmmaking and that, yeah, it's a well-made film. Cinematography you don't really notice. The music's good. Yeah, a lot of like James Brown and Curtis Mayfield and that sort of funk. I mean, it starts playing Superbad by Curtis Mayfield. Yeah, it's more of a dialogue's funny in this than like the physical comedy. It's not like a slapstick like Mr. Bean kind of thing. But yeah, for sort of filmmaking, it's well made, but the comedy is what really pushes this. Yeah, actually, maybe I'll give it an 8.5 because it's just hilarious. But yeah, it's everything I've watched in the last 12 days. I'll be back with a pickups video, I guess, next week. I'm off on holiday from work for 2 weeks and I've got paid, so as long as it doesn't cost too much for the person that's coming tomorrow to repair the nightmare that I've had in this place, I I should have some money to buy some films. So yeah, I guess I'll be back with another haul video on Monday, Tuesday or so. Yeah, let me know of any of the sort of questions I've asked on these. I've already forgot, like who is the director of The Empire Strikes Back. Sure, someone will know. Trying to think of anything else I needed to say. I can't think of it, but yeah, watch and subscribe to all the YouTubers I mentioned. All great people and good YouTubers. I think that's everything. Right, I'll be back in a few days. See you again. Goodbye.